Hey listeners, this episode is brought to you by EF World Journeys. Today's travelers want more from their vacation. That's why more people are turning to travel professionals to help them explore the world with confidence. For nearly 35 years, EF World Journeys has been the go to guided experiential travel company for leisure travelers who want to learn more about people, places, and cultures around the world. Its brands EF Ultimate Break, EF Go Ahead Tours, and EF Adventures serve everyone from Gen Z to baby boomers and help tens of thousands of US and Canadian travelers every year explore 400 bucket list destinations. EF World Journeys is one of North America's biggest guided group tour companies, and its expert planned immersive itineraries focus on the big moments and little things that make travel and meeting new people so rewarding. It's experiential travel that goes deeper, where every journey builds a connection, inspires wellness, and fuels a lifelong love of learning. EF World Journeys, guided by experts, driven by curiosity. To learn more, go to efworldjourneys.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Skiff Travel Podcast. I'm Skiff's editor-in-chief, Sarah Kopit, joined, as always, by Skiff's head of research, Seth Borko. And today we are going to talk about soccer, or football, or the beautiful game with Bettina Garibaldi, Chief Marketing and Comms Officer for the New York, New Jersey Host Committee for the FIFA World Cup, coming up sooner than any of us thinks in 2026. But before we do, a quick reminder to send any questions or comments that you might have for us at skiff.com. And please don't forget to follow, like, or subscribe to this podcast wherever you are listening or watching. And if you're enjoying the show, please rate us 5 stars. It helps us spread the word about the Skiff Travel Podcast. So, Bettina, how you doing today?
Good. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so this is, as New Yorkers, Seth and I both live in New York. It's something that I almost can't believe is actually going to happen in a year.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, Seth, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel real. I mean, this is a big deal. This is a really big deal. It doesn't happen that often, and it feels unbelievable to me that it can happen in the USA, also in New York City.
I remember in 1994 when it came. I was in Detroit at the time, and it came to our area, and it was amazing. So yeah,
It is truly unbelievable, even for us so close to it. When we had the 1 year to go countdown mark not long ago, and to think that this is about 10 months out, it's quite unbelievable. And it'll be here before we know it.
When did the effort start? How long has this been in the works for, behind the scenes, for those who don't know?
So it has been in the works for quite some time. The New York, New Jersey Host Committee was established back in 2018, and it was a united bid between the state of New Jersey and the city of New York. Joined forces to tackle this bid as a union, right? As what this region is, right? So vibrant and diverse, and it's been a long time coming. Personally, I haven't been with the host committee for that long myself, but I do have colleagues that have been at it since the very beginning, and I will say, it truly is a once in a generation moment, really, for the region, for the U.S. As you might recall, the last time the World Cup was hosted in the U.S. was 1994. So it's definitely, some folks possibly listening to this were not even born. But many of us do remember being super young, right? And for it to come back in our backyard, and also, a pivotal moment was when the region was awarded the final, which for this tournament, as you can imagine, it's the most watched sporting event, or actually not even sporting event, the most watched event in the world. We'd like to put it into perspective for the U.S. market in specific. The last the last final, when it was hosted in Qatar in 2022, was had the same amount of viewership as the last 13 Super Bowls combined. So that, if that doesn't put things into perspective as far as how big this is and what's about to come to our backyard, I don't know what does.
We should use a Taylor Swift like meter. Like, where does it match to the Eras tour? Like that can be our standard
Yes.
moving forward of how big events are. But I want to talk a little bit about the political climate in the US. I mean, at best, it is unwelcoming for some visitors right now. We've seen massive inbound drops in tourism across the board, especially from Canada and Mexico, who are the co-hosts of this North American World Cup. So how is FIFA selling not only the United States, but New York and New Jersey specifically to the world, a world that has kind of said, you know what, we're not really interested in coming to the United States of America right now?
Yeah, I will say, we um this current administration was actually in office when the bid was happening to even host the tournament here. So there is vested interest in this being as successful as can be. As the host committee, our purview is just to ensure that we are, as the organizing body within the region itself, that we're delivering a safe, efficient, and fun-filled event for those who do come and visit us, our region, and then also the communities and the residents. So I will say it is a big marker for the nation next year. In addition to the U.S. turning 250 years old, there's a lot to celebrate next year, and I think between the culmination of fans traveling for the World Cup, both domestic and international, and then just other celebrations happening. There won't be an empty space, so to speak, of those coming to celebrate. It is going to be a very celebratory moment. And what we're doing as the host committee is just ensuring that we're working with the public and private sectors to ensure that we are ready to welcome those who will be here.
Do you just like shudder every time you see a report on the news of somebody, being detained at the border because they, I don't know, pick your pick your pick your reason?
I mean, of course, right? The human aspect of it, on a personal level, absolutely, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we don't have any. I don't have any control over that. I know what our goal is, and
Yeah.
that's the focus right now.
Do you are you working with Brand USA with New York City Tourism to promote the region and the World Cup?
Yes, yes. So we are in close collaboration with so Brand USA. I know the World Cup is one of their biggest endeavors for next year to drive international tourism here. In fact, I will be speaking at their Brand USA Summit in London in October, and with New York City Tourism as well. And in addition to, obviously, let's not forget Visit New Jersey as well. So with the local DMOs of the region, so we're working together, collaborating on ensuring that their plans to market the World Cup as a driver of tourism to the region is front and center.
You'll have to forgive us, Bettina, because we are both New Yorkers. So my wife is from New Jersey, so I'm learning
That's
I'm learning
okay.
to I'm learning to say New York and New Jersey. But you'll have to forgive our slip ups when we focus
That
on New
no,
York
no,
City.
that's totally fine. It's understood. It's just where I can plug it in as a reminder. I absolutely will. But no worries at all.
So speaking of New Jersey, the actual games or the matches, I must say, I'm not really a sports fan, so I call them all the wrong things, matches, games. Like I always get corrected by my husband. But you have to get a whole bunch of people from New York City to New Jersey. That does not go well on a regular day. We hear about it all the time. What's the plan to move all of those people? Is it via path? Is it via,
New Jersey
Like,
Transit.
are there going to be New Jersey Transit? Are there new infrastructure plans in the works to do this massive people move from place to place?
So there is an entire mobility plan being put into place right now. We have a dedicated team solely focused on that, working with transit agencies, et cetera, to fine tune and scenario plan. I will say, hosting an event of this magnitude is as much about operations as it is marketing.
Yeah,
To your point, right?
absolutely.
Um, the beauty, though, about the region is we do have, not to toot our own horn, but why not? We are New York, New Jersey, right? We do have unmatched facilities and infrastructure in place, transportation options. What the team is coordinating right now is different scenario planning. I will say, come December, those plans will be further solidified because right now, while we know we have 8 matches at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, we don't yet know the times of those matches.
Mm,
December will be a critical point. It's the draw. It's when the qualified countries, the 48 qualified countries, are drawn from our hat. And then we know, what countries fall into which groups. It becomes just a very big moment, and chatter moment for the tournament. Um, and that's also when we'll likely know the times of the matches, because that'll be critical, right? If it matches at noon versus at 4, right, there will be other plans and different plans that will need to be put in place. So the team right now is scenario planning any sort of potential outcome of the match schedule, and solidifying that. But as you can imagine, it'll be increased options.
yeah,
It'll be for example, on those 8 match days that are happening at MetLife, potentially encouraging folks, work from home that day, potentially, if you are impacted on that route, right?
Yeah.
It is, a 39-day tournament,
yeah,
and 8 matches are here. And then of those 8 matches, 4 are during the weekday. So it's about also kind of managing that, right? As well as we communicate out the plans and what's being put into place. But the team, as well as myself, also with the comms part of it, we're coordinating daily with city, state, federal partners
yeah.
to ensure that there's just a seamless journey. So there will be options.
Is that going to be a part of your remit as chief marketing comms officer? You'll be, maybe today's a good day to work from home. That'll be part of the brand, like not branding, but that'll be part of the messaging.
Potentially. I mean, right now, again, we're scenario planning, and you know, there are other markets, other host cities in the U.S., quite frankly, that don't even have public transit, right? And so they're establishing those. We have those options. It's just a matter of the scaling of it. At the end of the day, MetLife holds roughly about 80,000 people, 82,000 people. And the rest is, it's, driving people to our fan zones and other things and other areas that we want to drive them to enjoy the celebration. So there will be plans in place. We just don't know yet. December will be more definitive.
Oh, no, I was just going to say it'll be interesting for those of us in New York because almost anything can go on in New York City. And those of us who live here almost never feel it. It's just because there's so much going on all the time. But I have a feeling with this one, it's going to be different. It's going
Yeah.
to be. It's going to be like the Pope and Taylor Swift and the president and the UN, General Assembly all going on at one time.
Sure, for sure. Yes, we do often joke around and compare it to the Taylor Swift, her whole Eras tour. But to your point too, something else that we are considering in our planning is also just language barriers, right? Of those, it is a very internationally driven event. So ensuring that, again, what we do push out there is clear, the journey, whether someone's traveling from a hotel in Elizabeth, New Jersey to the stadium, or they're coming all the way from Brooklyn, that there will be clear comms and marketing and wayfinding and you name it to get them where they need to go.
I mean, I think as New Yorkers, I think that was what I was going to say earlier. As New Yorkers, we kind of sometimes, or New Jerseyans, we know what to do, but it'll be interesting to see people navigate some of this stuff. Yeah, I think about that a lot, about the New York City subway, Penn Station, Port Authority, MetLife Stadium. It's going to be, for someone whose English isn't the first language, it's exciting, but it could also be some other emotions as well, right?
Right, absolutely. But to your point too, New York City and New Jersey aren't foreign to, and foreign pun intended, to international travelers.
No,
Right.
that's a
We
great point.
are
We
just
deal with it all
a
the time.
destination, right, that has always welcomed travelers from around the world. So will it require even, a deeper dive and more meticulous wayfinding? Absolutely. Will it require additional digital tools that people can have access to know how to get from point A to B as it relates to the tournament? Absolutely. But that's why I think also working closely with New York City Tourism, Visit New Jersey, ensuring also, they are creating their dedicated World Cup, landing pages with information, et cetera, and being in sync with what their plans are from a tourism perspective will be really important too.
I'm curious if you all are working at all with the short-term rental platforms. New York very famously, put pretty heavy restrictions on short-term rentals a couple of years ago. And I'm just wondering if there's been any conversation about, maybe a lifting of that during this time to ease the stress on um, you know, where people are going to stay.
We haven't, to be honest, not as it relates to that part of the operation. From for us, it's again, that's not our remit. Our
Right.
remit more so is, our goal as a host committee is to deliver this World Cup, coordinate with key city and state stakeholders, and provide suggestions possibly, but at the end of the day, that's not necessarily, we're not lobbyists for something like that,
Right.
right? It's ensuring that the existing infrastructure or rules in place and laws in place, should they decide to change it, fantastic, we'd welcome it. But again, there are so many, again, this region, and I think a reason why we did get the final is because there will be no shortage in rooms and beds, right?
Yeah.
It's just used to receiving that many people, and now also it's coming in as a united bid. There's going to be other options for folks to stay in New Jersey. Quite frankly, the entire state. I mean, Philadelphia is also a host city too, and Boston. So there's going to be a lot of that traffic as well, of fans kind of traveling across the Northeast region. So
A little Acela
we're not
corridor soccer,
necessarily sorry.
a little Acela corridor soccer road trip or train trip or
Yeah,
something like that.
exactly.
I like
Exactly. I mean, our
that.
goal is to get folks out there and experiencing other areas that they might have normally not, right? So, we want to make sure that everyone experiences the offerings between both states.
Hey, everybody, I'm Sarah Kopit, editor in chief at Skift, and I've got to be honest with you, I am just blown away by how fast our industry is changing. AI is transforming how people book, platforms are flipping business models and consumer behavior. It is more unpredictable than ever. And that's why I am so excited for this year's Skift Global Forum happening September 16th through 18th in New York City. This year's theme jumps into the future, Travel 2030, people, platforms, and new paths forward. You'll hear from leaders at Booking Holdings, IHG, AirAsia, plus dozens more shaping the future of travel. And this year, we've got more than just stage talks. We've got expert-guided roundtables and new networking formats designed to spark real conversation so you can do real business. Expect it to be more interactive, more personal, and more valuable than ever. Join me and the rest of the industry at Skift Global Forum. Use the code PODCASTS for $800 off the full price at live.skift.com. Hope to see you there.
So, can you maybe tell us a little about that? I mean, our listeners, it's a Skiff Travel podcast. Our listeners are a lot of hotels, a lot of airlines, a lot of sellers of online travel. Um, what do you think the tourism impact will be on both the New York, New Jersey area and that broader Northeast corridor? Like, what we've talked a lot about live tourism at Skift as like this key driver. What do you think? Like, what should hotel like if you're a hotelier or an airline, what should you expect? What should you do differently? How should you do you have any thoughts on how they can tie into your marketing and comms plans?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I agree. I think live tourism is on fire. Um, as you mentioned, Taylor Swift, the
Yeah,
Olympics.
exactly. People love this
Um,
sort of stuff.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's obviously driving record travel. And we're tapping into that momentum. We did recently commission a study with tourism economics, just to get a sense of those numbers and what they look like. And for the region alone, and when I say region, it's New York City,
New, New
New York,
Jersey.
and New Jersey.
See, I got it. I
It
got it.
is the economic impact is significant. It's 3.3, roughly 3.3 billion-dollar boost for the region, right?
Wow.
And that accounts for, I think it's roughly 26,000 jobs supported, right? It all has a ripple effect, as you know very well. And there are areas, right? A lot of people think, oh, but it's, the FIFA World Cup and there's a lot of branding and IP restrictions. Sure, right? Do not use the logo without,
You're telling me
permission
that
unless you're an official. But there are other ways that you can get involved, right?
yeah.
And in fact, we recently distributed a community engagement toolkit on ways that folks can get into the hype and kind of ride the wave of of this coming to our region. And it's not just next year, even starting yesterday, right? There are critical tournament milestones that are happening between yesterday and the tournament. When the official match ball is released, in Q3, when the mascot, there's going to be a FIFA World Cup 2026 mascot that's going to be revealed as well this year. So there are moments where, if you're a hotel, or if you're a small business or a restaurant, there's ways that you can tap into that. And quite frankly, we share some of those ideas within the toolkit. December, as I mentioned, is a draw, which will be a critical moment. And by then, we will also know the 48 countries that have qualified. So there's a lot that, from a restaurant perspective, or if you're, I had a local vendor, ice cream vendor from New Jersey, reach out because they have an idea of creating, country flavors of ice cream. So the 48 countries that qualify, right? There's still ways that you can become involved and 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 kind of inject some energy into the community, and that's what we're hoping to do, because there's only so much that we as the host committee can also do, just resources, etc. But we're leaning on the communities to take part and get excited about this.
Do you know what the mascot will look like yet? Do you
I was
have a
going to
sense?
say, when can you tell us?
I do not know, and I'm not saying I'm not, you know, I really don't know.
Bettina, it's just us. It's just us. You
No,
can
no, no,
Yeah,
tell
but
just us.
us. You can tell
I
us.
really don't know, but I do already have ideas on what we can do once the mascot is announced, and doing a potential meet and greet with our regional sports mascots that we have, right? And things of that. There's a lot of fun that we can have, but I genuinely don't know.
Although I think a mascot meet and greet is the funniest idea. I really like that idea a lot. That is so funny.
It's like, wait
But
for them at Newark Airport or JFK, but
yeah, I want to. Yeah, yeah, greeters yeah, airport greeters in the form of mascots. And there's these host city posters, right? Were
yes.
you involved in designing the New York poster? I think that's pretty cool.
Yes, yes. So we not myself personally designing, because my art skills are horrendous. However, we we did enlist an artist from the region. His name is Rich too. He is incredible. He was, well, grew up in New Jersey, but now lives in Brooklyn.
We'll forgive him for that.
And
We'll
it was
forgive him for
great. It
that.
was great. Checks off all the boxes. No, but also just an incredible human being. He, first generation Filipino American. He designed the poster for us. There was a creative brief that each host city was given by FIFA headquarters, and the goal was to ensure that our host city was represented in however way we wished. And as you can imagine, our challenge, but also opportunity, is that we are the only host city where we're 2-1. So it's ensuring that there's representation from both sides, and it was great. Hopefully, if you'd like a copy, I'm happy to send you a signed copy from Rich to both of you. But he was great to work with. He really brought his vision to life. A lot of details within it that if you look closely, you're like, okay, that's why that's included. You'll see a dice in there, that's for Atlantic City. But then you'll see a beautiful flower, and that's emblematic to his Filipino roots, and also the Garden State. And then obviously the torch and the Lady Liberty and the flame, which is actually a very uniting, symbolic element for both regions. So
And
we
Liberty
were
Island.
excited
Liberty
about
Island
it.
is shared. Liberty Island is shared between New York and New
Yeah.
Jersey. It's a very
Yes,
good
yes,
metaphor.
yes.
We love a good travel poster at Skift.
We do.
Okay.
It's kind of one of our things. So
Consider
so
it
we're big so we're big
Consider it
fans.
done. Consider it done. We will send over a few for you and your team. But yeah, the Liberty Statue of Liberty is very symbolic, and in fact, our official FIFA Fan Festival will be taking place at Liberty State Park. We recently announced that at the 1 year out mark back in June, and for all the right reasons, it was just the perfect venue and destination for the landmark event. It's the next best place to watch the game if you're not at MetLife, right? It's going to run the full 39 days of the tournament. There's going to be, I mean, where else can you find 800,000 square feet of just incredibleness and just space to host live watch parties and a lot of activations, and on New Jersey soil, but also with the beautiful backdrop of Manhattan and Lady Liberty. So we're really excited about that.
I'm curious about the kind of tri-national aspect of this. Will there be any coordinated kind of like fast track pass, kind of like an easy pass, I should say, to bring in another, local favorite between Mexico, Canada, and the United States for fans that want to kind of do the whole route up and down North America?
To my knowledge, that's more of a federal decision. Yeah, so I don't believe so. Unfortunately, our hands, would be very limited in that.
Yeah.
But I will say there is, the whole ticketing, the way FIFA sells tickets to games is you can buy either solo tickets, or you can buy, let's say you have a favorite team, so you can kind of buy to choose to follow them should they continue to proceed throughout the tournament. So there's different things, but yes, unfortunately, that's not something that we truly can control.
Yeah.
How much? I mean, do you have a sense of how much of in our region will be? Are you marketing to international tourists as well, or is it? I should have asked this up top, but are you marketing to a domestic audience or international audience, and how do you think about the split between those two? Is it a different message for an international audience to come to New York than it is for a domestic one, or is it just one message and everyone's going to be there because it's the World Cup and you got to be there, and it's New York City and New Jersey and you got to be here?
Yeah, we are, we're relying on our tourism partners to help with the international message. To be honest, our our marketing plans, as far as media plans, etc. We're not doing that as a host committee outside of the U.S. Right? We are um, responsible here for the region, city dressing, wayfinding, ensuring that we're abiding and delivering against our, what we've agreed to with our sponsors, and then of course everything as it relates to like travel demand management, right? And so we will be relying a lot on our tourism partners for that and for the international messaging. However, obviously there's channels that have no borders, right? So our website, we're ensuring that that's it's available in multiple languages, because obviously a lot of potential visitors will be going and following our channels for information. So when it comes to those owned channels, absolutely. But from a paid perspective, we won't.
So, Bettina, I have one last question for you.
Sure.
What are you looking forward to the most? What part of the World Cup experience are you personally just super psyched about?
Argentina winning it again. I'm originally from Argentina, so as you can imagine, this role for me was both just it was both, from a professional perspective but also personal perspective. It was just all stars aligned, as you can imagine. I think for me it's no just enjoying that energy. In all seriousness, I think it's seeing others experience it. I have experienced it, quite frankly, just throughout my professional career, and it's truly something that if you haven't, until you do, you will not truly understand what we mean by that energy, that momentum, that everyone comes here. And I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see the region get excited about it, and everyone jumping on board and setting any sort of differences aside. And I will say, for me, my background, I've always been a storyteller. I've worked across CPG, sports, you name it. And I've always been on the agency side, or always was on the agency side, up until I joined this organization. And I told myself, if I ever do make that leap into in-house, that it truly needs to be either for a brand or a cause or something that I'm truly passionate about. And I will say this was it for me. And to be able to be a part of something truly historic, it was an offer I couldn't refuse.
Would you think we can make New York City into a soccer or football town in the aftermath of the World Cup? Will our
I mean,
local teams?
absolutely. I think it's been growing exponentially in the region. I will say there's a lot of underground clubs too, and just the diversity alone, right? That brings a lot of just the soccer love and culture already. I will think this will absolutely boom the sport even further. In fact, the 1994 World Cup is what helped generate MLS. And MLS was born from the 1994 World Cup. So there's a lot of opportunity for this World Cup to just boom the sport even further, and across all sorts of audiences, right? You've got those that actively played in high school but obviously didn't pursue it for college, or you've got like everything from families, soccer moms, to local clubs and niche communities. There's a lot of love for the sport, and the growth has been honestly, for us, what we've witnessed in the past, I would say 7 years has been monumental, just with the local clubs, even Gotham, New York City FC, Red Bulls. Those stadiums are getting full, which is so great to see, right? It's not your most popular sport in the US, but it is the most popular sport in the world. So
And most importantly, we're gonna show up Boston, right? Our host committee.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We
That's
are
like a full stop. Like that will happen. Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Glad to hear it. We needed your word on that one. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, but Yeah, Bettina, it was so nice to talk to you today. Thank you so much for being on the pod. And for all of you listening, we will see you next week. Thank you for listening to the Skiff Travel Podcast. Wherever you're listening, please make sure to subscribe. If you like what you're hearing, rate us 5 stars or leave us a positive review. It really helps get the word out about us, our podcast, and make sure that we can still continue to bring it to you free of charge every week.
If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell as well. That way you'll know every time we have a new episode.
Hey listeners, this episode is brought to you by EF World Journeys. Today's travelers want more from their vacation. That's why more people are turning to travel professionals to help them explore the world with confidence. For nearly 35 years, EF World Journeys has been the go-to guided experiential travel company for leisure travelers who want to learn more about people, places, and cultures around the world. Its brands EF Ultimate Break, EF Go Ahead Tours, and EF Adventures serve everyone from Gen Z to baby boomers and help tens of thousands of US and Canadian travelers every year explore 400 bucket list destinations. EF World Journeys is one of North America's biggest guided group tour companies, and its expert planned immersive itineraries focus on the big moments and little things that make travel and meeting new people so rewarding. It's experiential travel that goes deeper, where every journey builds a connection, inspires wellness, and fuels a lifelong love of learning. EF World Journeys, guided by experts, driven by curiosity. To learn more, go to efworldjourneys.com.